Deep in the Sahara Desert lies a structure so massive, it can only be seen from space. A perfect circle, 30 miles wide, with rings that match an ancient description written 2,400 years ago. What if Atlantis wasn't a myth? What if it's been hiding in plain sight? This is the Richat Structure, also called the Eye of the Sahara. For decades, scientists dismissed it as a geological oddity. But when researchers actually measured it and compared those measurements to Plato's description of Atlantis, the similarities were impossible to ignore. In 360 BC, the Greek philosopher Plato described Atlantis in incredible detail, a circular city with alternating rings of land and water, surrounded by mountains, located on a vast plain. He said it was destroyed in a single day by a catastrophic flood. Sound familiar? Here's where it gets disturbing. Plato described Atlantis as sitting on a rectangular plain, 3,000 stadia by 2,000 stadia. That converts to roughly 340 by 230 miles. The Richat Structure sits on the Mauritanian Plateau, which measures almost exactly that size. The inner rings? They align with Plato's measurements of the city center down to the stadium. But there's a problem, right? Atlantis was supposed to be near water, surrounded by fertile land. This is the middle of the Sahara Desert. Except, 11,000 years ago, this wasn't a desert at all. The Sahara was green, filled with rivers, lakes, and thriving civilizations. This is exactly when biblical scholars date the world before Noah's flood. Genesis describes advanced civilizations before the flood, people with knowledge, engineering, and cities that disappeared when the waters came. Some biblical scholars believe these pre-flood societies weren't in Mesopotamia at all, but in Africa. And if that's true, then Atlantis isn't a Greek legend, it's a memory of what was lost. Plato said Atlantis was destroyed in a single day and night of earthquakes and floods. Geological records show that around 10,000 BC, massive climate shifts drained North Africa's megalakes and turned the Sahara into desert. Some researchers believe these weren't gradual changes, they were catastrophic. Exactly as described in both Plato's account and the book of Genesis. Now here's what makes this even stranger. When archaeologists finally explored the site on the ground, they found something scientists still can't explain: tool fragments, pottery shards, and evidence of human habitation dating back over 10,000 years, exactly when Plato said Atlantis fell. But mainstream archaeology refuses to investigate further. Why? The more you look, the more the evidence stacks up. Concentric rings matching Plato's description. Location on a plain matching his measurements. Timeline matching both the end of the Green Sahara and the biblical flood. Ancient artifacts confirming human presence. And one more thing, Plato said Atlantis faced the land now called Gades, modern-day Cádiz, Spain. Draw a straight line from Cádiz across the Atlas Mountains, and it points directly at the Richat Structure. Of course, mainstream scientists insist this is just a geological formation, an eroded dome with no connection to Atlantis whatsoever. And maybe they're right. Maybe it's all coincidence, the rings, the dimensions, the location, the timeline, the artifacts. Or maybe they're not looking closely enough. So is the Richat Structure the real Atlantis? Is it the remnant of a biblical pre-flood civilization that Plato heard about through Egyptian sources? We may never know for certain. But when you look at this structure from space, when you see those perfect rings emerging from the desert, when you trace the connections between ancient texts and modern discoveries, it's hard to walk away thinking it's just rocks. What do you think? Is this Atlantis, or just an incredible coincidence? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more mysteries from the ancient world, check out our episode on the Nephilim giants, another biblical mystery that archaeology can't quite explain.